Mention the name John Brodie to a Northern California sports fan, and they'll most likely instantly picture the San Francisco 49ers quarterback tossing a touchdown pass. From 1957 to 1973, John was the heartbeat of the 49ers. He'd win the NFL Most Valuable Player Award in 1970, and at the time of his retirement, had the third most passing yards in the league all time, eclipsed only by Johnny Unitas and Fran Tarkenton. Football, however, isn't the only sport where John excelled. Growing up in Oakland, and later starring at Oakland Tech High School, John spent hours playing everything he could with a ball, including golf. He'd been introduced to the game by his father, Aloysius Brodie, and learned the game caddying at Lake Chabot and Claremont Country Club, along with participating in youth events at local links such as Lincoln Park in San Francisco. Turned out John's golf swing was as blessed as his throwing arm, so much so that Bing Crosby took notice. As a teen, the Crosby and Brodie boys spent summers playing golf at Hayden Lake Country Club. "If you play like that, I'll invite you to my tournament," Crosby had told him. Bing followed up on his promise, and at the age of 21, John started in his first Crosby Invitational in Pebble Beach, while also a member of the Stanford golf team. At Stanford, John competed in 2 NCAA championships for the Cardinal, and while after graduation, he was drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. John continued to follow his passion, though, for competitive golf. During the NFL offseason, John took his athleticism to the PGA Tour, where he played from 1959 to 1961. At times, his traveling roommate was NCGA Hall of Famer and fellow Bay Area native Tony Lima, who won the 1964 British Open. In 1970, John won the Crosby Pro-Am title playing with partner Bob Rosberg, shooting an impressive 1-under on his own ball over the 72-hole tournament. At the AT&T tournament many years later, the California Golf Writers Association honored Brodie with the Jack Lemmon Ambassador of Golf Award. Following his retirement from football in 1973, John was a leading sports commentator for 12 years at NBC Sports, where he not only called football, but was one of the earliest color commentators for televised golf. John prefers to be the one playing, and as soon as Brodie turned 50, he retired from his lucrative position at NBC Sports with his eyes set on joining the newly formed PGA Senior Golf Tour, now Champions Tour. From 1985 to 1998, he'd notch a dozen top 10 finishes and win the 1991 Security Pacific Senior Classic, defeating 1969 Masters champ George Archer and 8-time PGA Tour winner Chichi Rodriguez in a playoff. John, whose wins also include the 1983 NCGA Mid-Amateur, became the first athlete from another sport to win a PGA Tour sanctioned event. John Brodie, an exemplary leader on the grass and off. In 2010, John was recognized for his character, as he was the first Caucasian to be inducted into the African American Ethnic Sports Hall of Fame.
He took me under his wing for a while. When I first came, made me feel welcome.
John stuck with me, never had a bad word to say about me, gave me the confidence to be a good player.
He's my favorite person of all time. Of all the people I've met in my entire NFL career, he's my favorite person of all time.
John, you and I go way back in the late 60s, as I recall, when we played an alumni match at Stanford Golf Club. We came to the 8th hole, where I made a hole-in-one, but you still kicked my butt that day. John, you've had a wonderful career, both in the NFL, being the MVP in 1970, winning the Crosby that year with our fellow Stanford alumnus Bob Rosberg, and then winning the Security Pacific Classic in 1991 on the Senior Tour. John, you're amazing.
John Brodie, welcome to the NCGA Hall of Fame.